Dear Lord, we hope that you bless this meeting and bless each and every one of us here. Help lead, guide, and direct us to please you and for the betterment of our city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, we have a resolution here we'd like to present to Barry Jarrett. Can you come forward? The resolution be resolved by the City Council, City of Kennett, Missouri as follows. Whereas Barry D. Jarrett was hired as a part-time firefighter on August 16, 1994, and has faithfully served the citizens of Kennett for 24 years, answering the page to fight a fire or perform a rescue. Whereas Barry D. Jarrett has participated in many training classes to achieve his master certification as a firefighter for the City of Kennett, and has always exemplified the highest ideals of public service on behalf of our city, and received a meritorious service award for his actions in saving a life on May 11, 2011. Whereas the City of Kennett appreciates his family understanding and supporting his time away from home to help the citizens of our fine city, perhaps missing many planned family events. Whereas it is altogether fitting and proper that recognition be given by our community to Barry D. Jarrett for his dedicated service to the citizens of the City of Kennett, Missouri. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Kennett, Missouri, that Barry D. Jarrett is recognized for his exemplary service to the people of Kennett, Missouri. Passed and approved this 20th day of February. Congratulations.
I'd like to say that his wife can attest to it. There's probably been many birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions that at a moment's notice when the pager went off that they trotted out the house. You know, wife and family. You never know if they're going to return the same way they left. So it is a dedication. And we appreciate Barry. He will be missed, and we hate to see it, but you know, there comes a time when you have to realize your family and your other obligations around. So Barry, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
In the package, you have minutes from the February 6th meeting.
Motion.
Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On the committee reports, Mr. Chambers represented tonight. Finance,
Well, finance on the latest income report, we're showing that we are about $14,000 on each one of the sales tax 1 and 2. Thanks to the last 3 months, all three of them have been on the positive side. So we're on track on the income side. On the expense side, everything's still looking good. Under budget so far. So thanks to everybody.
so far in the month of February, all departments are operating under budget
Yes.
except one.
Yes.
Fire. Ms. Human Resource,
I don't have anything at this time, HR.
Police,
I believe we're good on that as well at this time.
Streets.
Yeah.
We've always been on streets.
I'm also gonna give the department report there, if that's all right now.
Okay.
I wanna pass this out. This is some information. This is a policy that we're looking at adopting for paving roads that if somebody wants to speed up the process, so welcome to take a look at that. And it also covers sidewalks as well. And so just take a glance at that, give us a holler if there's any comments on it. We're gonna have the regular street committee meeting next Tuesday. at the street department. We're in the process of sending letters out concerning the large trucks that we're concerned about with some of the signs, et cetera. You can also, you should have gotten an email with all your other information from the street department as well. We need to also schedule a stormwater committee meeting to look at Victor's report, so when we get a chance, we'll be scheduling that.
You guys are down for, what is next Monday? Is that the 26th or,
Yes.
or when, February, the 26th?
Okay, that's right. Oh, here we go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But stormwater will be up here.
Yes, at 5:30. Is that what you got, Dan?
I don't remember if it was 5:30 or 6, but
Will you send us an email or a text?
Okay. Also, we've got some citizens that are having some issues, and we're working on doing some patches with some of the problems that they're having, but rather than put the cold patch type material on, we're gonna wait until the hot patch comes in so we can do this correctly, as permanently as we can. So if anybody hears anything about problems that we're working on, you can refer those to me also, and we'll get that squared away. I'm gonna cut it off right there. That's it.
Art Lewis, fire.
I turned in the month of January report to you, and a total of 95 calls for that month, averages out to a little over about 3 per day, a bit more than that. We're in the height of flu season, so we get a lot of calls, people with difficulty breathing, and that's one of the triggers that triggers it out. However, we have put in some protocols, and we will limit the number of people exposed, and they're supposed to be wearing masks and other things to limit our people. If you have any questions on that, call or call me afterwards. Another thing to bring up, I'm working on a grant, but I want to make sure that we can continue with it. It's the FEMA, it's the Fire Prevention and Safety Grant, but it allows for things to be done in the code enforcement realm. Currently, we don't have any programs to track anything. Everything's like been in-house made. What I'm wanting to do is purchase a program that tracks building construction, inspection, property maintenance, violations, fire inspection. Victor even said that it does have something in there on stormwater management tracking and reporting. But it has a portal where if we put it online, where citizens can go online and actually fill out a form for like property violations, or if they see a stormwater violation or something. So the program, it'll allow for them to add pictures to a file. We would have to do a 5% match, so it's a 95.5. What I anticipate, and I'm hope I'm a little high, is about a $2,000 to $3,000 on the city's part.
Only 5%.
Yes.
Okay.
But with that, some of the things I'm looking at is that the program itself will give up to 5 users. It's about a $20,000 program, but they come in and they do the training, they transfer the information, they get it set up. But I'm looking at where they will actually, hopefully we're looking at reducing some paper here. We'll use iPads. We're looking at 4 to 5 iPads at about 800 each, because we want to make sure they have quite a bit of megabyte to them. 1 or 2 portable printers where they can actually, if they find a property violation, it goes down here and generates the report. They can print it out in the car and give it to them right away. And then we would have to have some hot spots for the field work. The kicker to it, this is the reason I bring it to you, once all this is based on an iCloud, where we don't have storage cabinets and all that, and that's what everybody's going to. And there's an annual fee of approximately $8,700 to maintain this.
Annually?
What's that?
Did you say annually?
Yes. And that is where they come in, they'll do updates, and they make sure if you have enough iCloud space and things like that. It sounds like quite a bit of funding. I know even in the police realm, they do theirs on iCloud base, and any of that, because of the security measures and all that, it's quite expensive, but now what we have, it's hard to poll what's went on in the past, it's hard to bring up records, and so this is an area where we can ask for the biggest bulk of the money and get us on track with less paper and I guess you might say into 21st century on it. I just need to know if council's wishes to continue with the grant and see, I'm not guaranteed the grant, but to see if we can secure this grant and it'll improve.
Is there a data usage fee for doing this?
What's that?
A data usage fee?
No, you get up to 5 users and that's included, but like I said, there's an annual fee of about $87.50.
What about the initial setup? Is there a cost for that?
That is included in what I quoted, that 20,000. They'll come in, they'll go to the county if they have to get records and put in there,
Okay.
any training and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Is Victor up to date on this as well?
Victor's one that found it.
Okay, could we discuss this at stormwater, this next stormwater meeting?
Yeah, I'll tell him
If it
because I
ties heavily into
understood.
that may be the answer to
Yeah.
some of our problems, but, I mean, I would suggest right now that we delay any comments until we
Sure.
take it to stormwater. Let it come back to committee.
And we can possibly.
I've got
expense it out
until, and the reason I'm on a fine line because they only give 30 days, so I got until the 12th of March.
Yeah, it'd be
working on
Monday,
this.
will that work? Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just need to, Victor's the one that found the program, he's the one that brought it up, he's pretty
Well, then
excited to
We'll
look
talk
at it.
through it at
Okay,
Monday then.
but I just looked at, if it gives an avenue of citizens to be able to file complaints or whatever online.
Ties in pretty heavily with what we're gonna be doing, so.
So I'll have him, he knows the whereabouts of the program and see what all he can find
All
on
right.
it. We finished up a grant for the fire, I mentioned that last meeting, don't know if we did it or not, but what we applied for is try to replace at least 10 sets of personal protective turnout gear. They have what they call mini grants and they award more of those, so we got it down to where $25,000 just trying to add to our budget to be able to get 10 sets of that gear replaced. Talked to Jim Grading, we're gonna be getting back with the regional planning on the fire station grant to work on that. They had some change in personnel, haven't heard much back from them, so I'll get back with them next week and we'll start working that process. Okay? Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Mayor, I don't have anything for tonight. Just thoughts and prayers go out with Parkland, Florida, their community, the schools, and all the students and their families. Hopefully, the winter going to start changing and people's going to change the mindset where we may not be able to stop the school shootings entirely, but we sure can reduce them. We've got a few things that we're working on now that we're going to be dealing with in the future, and I'll discuss that with you later when things get more confirmed. Also, didn't get to check today, but there was about 130% increase in officers' deaths this time period over last year. 75% is gunfire, and the rest of it is either medical or traffic accidents. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Street, you have anything else you want to add? Okay. New business, packet, request to appoint John Robertson to the zoning committee.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next item is to get approval to have a company come in, Fred Pryor Seminars, and they have people that will come to businesses to discuss whatever topic that needs to be discussed. And the fee for this would be around $3,000. This would be mandatory training for the entire city employees. And we have $10,000 in the budget for training. And I really think that this is something that needs to be done, especially with the, all the comments that keep popping up in the news and all. So just need the approval for the expenditure.
The 2,000 is out of where?
3,000.
3,000.
It's out of the,
Well,
Training.
in my budget, there's 10,000 for
It's
training,
10,000.
and we haven't used any.
Thank
You good with that?
we're good on the finance side, as long as you guys wanna do it.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. You'll vote.
Okay, the next item, it's in your packet. The utility board met at lunch today and they approved the changing of the broker. Right now, we have Swinford and Associates, they're out of Jackson, Missouri. And Mitchell Insurance is out of Sykeston. And we did send out for people to reply to the request. There was about 7 that came in, and out of the 7, we chose 4 to interview the broker. And Mitchell Insurance seems to, they have a program where they come in and they get more information from the employee to try to help them make better decisions on their medical health care. And the committee, utility committee, and Bob and I were there representing the city. We feel like that at this time, we would like to request the change of broker of record to Mitchell Insurance of Sykeston.
Who's our current?
Swinford, they've been with us about 28 years.
Basically, what you're looking at is the broker. All these brokers operate with the 3 big insurance companies, so United Healthcare is the one we're using right now, and they may well remain, and the broker goes up to hopefully find the best deal, but,
There won't be any savings there.
well, the quote across the top of the page is just about the same. A few pennies difference.
But we feel like Mitchell, the way of the future for medical insurance for companies is going to be somewhat self-insured, and they would be able to kind of guide us along this path, and then also try to educate the employees that they've got to take more direction on their own.
What about Baker, Wellman, and Brown, since it's a local company?
Since they're negotiable on their fees, so is that,
Has anybody talked to them?
Yes, these are the 4 that we talked to.
Okay.
And yes, we did speak to them, and the presentation didn't answer the questions as well as the other 3 insurance companies did.
Okay.
Were they asked to clarify? Were they given the opportunity to clarify it? And they didn't do this one?
Well, I mean, they, at the time, you know, the questions were asked at the interview, and he really just couldn't come up with a firm price as far as what would be charged.
I think the major difference, both of them and Brown, they do have connections, but, they're more of a local company. These other businesses, got a much wider range that they deal in. And, they'll probably flip the coin between a couple of them, but, Mitchell seemed to be progressive, looking to come up with ways to reduce cost in the future. And as Diane mentioned, no guarantee that you want to go that way, but at some point, the way insurance is going, city's gonna have to look at being self-insured. And that's what it's all about. Any other questions?
We have to decide that tonight.
I mean, yeah, can we put it off?
No. Utilities decided today that they're for it, and we all go together, and the brokers cannot go out and try to start getting information for renewal purposes unless they're the broker of record.
Do we have a motion?
I think I'm just not 100% sure right now. Whether,
I think you know how this works, but CLGW and the city are tied together because if we go in two different directions, one of the participants is going to drop off dramatically, and it's going to cost a lot more unless the state combines with them. And, I'll give them the word thanks. They did the legwork. They was down there, dug in, got the people that was interested, did the research, and we did it all work. John and I participated as far as hearing the presentations and.
How long are we committing for?
1 year.
1 year.
CLGW wanted to go to Mitchell.
Yes. Their board approved this one today.
I know two of the brokers personally and well, so I think I will abstain.
Okay.
So we need a motion to further discuss it even, don't we?
We need a motion.
So I'll make the motion so we can continue discussion.
Okay. A motion, have a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay. Proceed.
I know this, is throwing it on you all at the last minute,
That's
but,
exactly that, I mean,
but,
we weren't aware of it.
this happens every year. And, well, I take that back. There was a time that there was no other insurance company that would take our account. And that was another reason why I stayed with Swinford for so long.
It's the first time I can remember this come up. Or they come to.
Well, it's because we're changing the broker of record. But I can assure you that there has been a lot of research and discussion on this. And it is just for a year. If it doesn't work out well, if they're not able to try to either get lower pricing on our medical insurance and dental and vision. We could always put it out for bid next year. But the utility board accepted the proposal that was given by Brenda Ward, who is their HR representative. This will really, cause somewhat of a problem if the city decides not to go along with it. Because we're together, but we're separate, like Bob said, we're together in order to get better rates for both entities.
What's the downside to this? Is there a downside?
I don't know, because, I guess the downside would be that this particular company doesn't live up to what they proposed. That could be a downside on any of them.
That's right, that's not different than anybody else.
On the front page there, you have references, City of Sikeston and Mitchell, BMU, Sikeston Schools, Brazil Delta Medical Center, and Allen Wire. Brenda and the ladies down at CLGW researched all these different customers. And just give a list of who they service, and talk to the people and got their feedback.
Did they decide to change because there was so many problems
No,
with?
the reason to change was because Mitchell Insurance is offering this biometric screening, which is something that no broker has ever offered before, and it would be at their cost. So we felt like there was the possibility Mike could catch an illness of an employee quicker than normal.
What is the biometric screening, because I'm not familiar with that.
I didn't bring the picture with it, but they come in and they take the blood and it's like an ultrasound, and they do the testing and everything. Every year, or one time. I have the impression it could be every year.
Since this would be an annual contract, be up for grabs, you do next year.
Is it gonna be somewhat cheaper for the employees?
Well, at this point, we don't know for sure. They can't do anything unless they are the broker of record. There is Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare, and Anthem. Those are your major players.
So there's no guarantee that if we do this, the employee cost will go up, or it could go down. We don't know.
We don't know.
But we don't have to accept what's
That would be the switch.
provided either, right? If they say it's this price for this company, we don't have to accept that.
No, and they can go back and negotiate, but,
It's not locking us into a certain insurance company right now, though. You could
No,
still
no,
put, right, so it's still putting
because
up the
they would
bid,
go
it's just-
out and
Starts the
and talk to
negotiations.
them.
Right, and that's all we're looking at is a way to different company negotiate. Right, so it's,
The reason we switched to United Healthcare is because Anthem was looking at a 16% increase. And so, the Jeff Bierman, the broker for Swinford, was able to go out and, get something better.
I don't want this to sound like criticism, but listening to the presentations, Switch's been with us a long time, and it's kind of like what you see is what you get. You've been doing you a good job, we'll keep doing you a good job. Not really bringing much to the table. Mitchell, on the other hand, they were more progressive. this biometric screening, their focus, main focus seems to be on getting the employees to take more ownership to their health care. And I think this is, if you watch the news, this is the wave of the future. So if I had to make a difference between the two of them, and that's just my opinion, but I think that's the major thing that I saw. I think any one of them can probably go do an adequate job negotiating with the insurance company. But they just brought more to the table, enthusiasm, some new programs. Good healthcare industry.
That's good. That's what to do.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Opposed? You should be good.
Give them a tap for a year.
We've been discussing this a lot. I don't know if you've paid attention to that second page. Digital will handle the brokerage consulting on healthcare. Aflac product stays with Baker, Bowman and Brown. And the voluntary life, I don't know if it's Chubb, who is that?
Well,
It's what we got now.
we have our, yeah, through Unum.
That's another facet of it right there. Okay, have the city accounts payable packet in your packet. Approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Also have the city accounts payable abstract.
Motion.
In the packet, we have a request from Frank Crafton regarding a tax lien that we placed on some property owned by Winston Blythe. Property's on the south bypass, located on Leela Drive, and the lien is in the amount of $7,500. Put on there for cleaning up those lots. Captain's interested in purchasing the property, and he's requesting that the council consider reducing or eliminating this lien, and he's going to turn the property into tax-producing property and be one less property for the city to mow.
Did he make an offer? What was the cause of the lien?
Had to clean up the property.
Tore down.
Winston
Tore
Blau.
down houses and clean up the property.
We had the lien on the property.
Based upon, is there a cost involved with cleaning it?
Oh,
Yeah, that's the $7,500 cost, but
Yeah, that's our actual
our
cost.
sales clean up.
It's just one property open for bid. What's the deal?
Can we waive it for a period of time rather than,
We can do whatever we want to do on that type of limit.
John, is that more than one property?
I think maybe.
he owns several along there, I know.
It's looking at buying.
who owns them now?
What I'm hoping is that abutting properties that they cleared off, it looks like a good piece of commercial.
Chief, where is this?
What is this
You
property?
know where the Jelly Bean Hill,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
next to, Butler Forest Service, then you had that Commerce, obviously
See
tore
that?
that. It's right in behind the next one. It would make a real nice big commercial island there if they abut them two properties, but you have to hope that they, once you lean the taxes off, they develop something there.
Yeah, this isn't a forgiveness of any taxes, it's getting what you can't do, but you can forgive any part of a lien like this.
That was our cost to clean up the property?
And there has not been an offer made, or there has?
He is negotiating with Winston Blau. who owns the property.
Okay.
But in order
This
for
is a
him to get
separate-
clear title, this lien has to be paid.
Winston.
So he's trying to buy it from Winston, take care of the thing.
Now, Winston doesn't own the delegate fee.
No.
No,
That would be a separate transaction, but it's all connected.
We start down this road, we're done in.
If we forgive this lien and the deal doesn't go through, does that mean that?
We're gonna have to start forgiving
Zero?
everybody.
Well, no, we do it contingent upon, what we do is tell Crafton if he buys it, we forgive the lien.
I'd be for doing that, if the deal goes through, but if it doesn't go through, then it's paid on.
Part of it.
Yeah.
What,
Or you
1%?
can reduce
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we do that, then everybody's gonna be asking for forgiveness on the property.
Just future development?
Yeah, he might, he might not. Can I make it contingent on him developing something?
That's the key to it.
That's his plan.
We can.
I'm sure he's not gonna buy it just to let it sit there and grow up, so he has to mow it.
Well, if he bought it and did not develop it, then we're out
Yeah, but still, we're out.
$7,500. If he does develop it,
That's part of the deal, I mean, if he wants to.
forgive the money.
That ain't gonna happen.
That he would not do something with it.
How much annually would it cost us to keep it?
oh, you'd have to mow it, say every three, depend on the rains, but say every 3 weeks at least. So you know,
Roughly.
about $150. By the time you get two people over there, and, you know, they're taking away some other things, and put administrative fee on it, and all, it's about $150.
So I said, but contingent on him working the deal with him.
It should be between them, but I'm trying to figure it out.
I'll just talk to Terry here, so he can understand.
I would follow Terry's advice that it would be contingent on him reaching an agreement and a contract with Winston Belial for the purchase of the property, that we would then forgive or reduce the lien, whatever the council would choose to do. After his part's been procured.
Well, he's gonna want to know a dollar amount. It's being
Well, I know,
reduced,
that's what I'm
so.
saying. But I just put that part up for discussion as far as whether it's zero or.
I think we should recover some of our expense,
I'm
not
not-
forgive the whole
I'm
amount.
second for
I
discussion.
mean, we- Is it open for discussion, or? I think we should recover some of our costs, and then, otherwise, we're opening the door for everybody to start asking forgiveness after we go in and keep it clean for many years.
We spent,
Okay.
He's hurt.
This year?
we had $75 on
Oh, yeah, it's already,
Yeah,
that was
Probably more than that
last
by
year,
the time.
16.
Preparation.
it should be between them to figure it out. We can pay that. I mean, we're already out there.
Everybody's out for it again.
Yes, sir.
I would-
Yeah, that'd be good.
My proposal would be, I'd make a motion that we, upon him negotiating a sale from Winston Belial and then under contract, that we as a council would be willing to forgive half of the lien for the city on the property.
There will be a time frame on that? Because it can go forever.
Yeah, it's on a one-time deal, right? If it
Yeah.
falls through, then we go back
Yeah,
to
no,
7,500
It's
and.
just for this specific purpose only.
We're opening ourselves up to every time somebody buys
Yeah.
a piece of property.
Yes.
Come to us and with
Yeah, that,
any lien or whatever we have on that be forgiven.
But at the same time,
That,
Get rid of
if you don't,
that's true, but we need to turn these,
What's that?
we need to turn these derelict properties into
Any
tax.
contingent on him developing.
Terry, what were you saying?
well, what I was gonna say is,
Come through.
rather than get something back than nothing.
Well,
Now, we knew when we went into the, project, cleaning up the properties and spending the money to clean them up, that we were fronting the money, and the chances of us getting much of that back were pretty minimal. And if we can get some back, I think we're probably ahead of the game. Otherwise, Winston's gonna continue to own it, and it's never going to be, or whoever buys
It's
it.
gonna continue to cost us.
Yes, and it's gonna continue to cost us.
And we paid for this out of the citywide cleanup.
Yes.
Right?
As John
Well, I
pointed
mean,
out,
he said in his letter here that he will develop the property into a tax producing.
So,
I mean, he's done that with other properties he's bought.
have we seconded that motion?
I was gonna make
We're not
the
gonna get
we haven't got a second to it. This motion-
Second.
You got a motion and a second. I just want to add one thing, as John pointed out. If this doesn't transpire, we're gonna spend another $550 this summer mowing, so that bill's gonna continue to grow. So we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everybody will take care of it.
Yeah.
We have an ordinance.
I sent everybody an ordinance on
John
the
Robertson, yeah.
building code last Friday, along with the memo. And that, I've been requested prepared in order to not require design professional drawings on remodeling or renovation construction projects which don't alter roof lines or load-bearing walls. What I prepared and what I sent to you last Friday, basically says that building permits would not be required, where you don't remove or cut any structural beam or enlarge the capacity of any building. And, first reading of that is an ordinance amending section 500.120 of the municipal code of the city of Kennett to provide that building permits shall not be required for remodeling projects that do not remove or cut any structural beam or load-bearing support or enlarges the capacity of any building.
All in favor, say aye.
Can I make a correction here?
Yes.
On your memo, it says that an ordinance, the current ordinance does not require or requires a permit for alteration or construction which costs less than $500.
That's
That
not
is
right.
wrong.
It should be more than 500.
More than 500.
Yeah, that's true.
Are we discussing it? Can we, is this discussion or?
Well, we can discuss it.
We don't have a
We need a
first
motion
or a
to
second.
Motion.
approve the first reading.
Well, we're gonna get a second thing to talk
All in
about.
favor, say
Yeah.
aye. Okay, now we can have a
Which one of
discussion.
y'all seconded it?
What,
We need to have discussion or
Tell
one
me-
second meeting.
tell me what is so controversial about this right now? Why is this,
That's what I was asked to prepare.
Yeah, well,
that's what you were what?
I was requested.
I got a question. Why should we waive the requirement of a permit when there's no fee associated with a permit?
Well, because if you require a permit, you require a drawing. If you require a drawing, it has to be an architectural drawing or by a design professional.
Okay, but we're obligated to follow the code, so the code enforcement officer should be notified anytime there's remodeling or alterations
Not under this
to a
ordinance.
building.
Not in this ordinance.
This also does not say anything about a firewall or,
Yeah.
or mandatory firewall. I mean, it.
No, and that could be added in.
It's,
That wasn't mentioned.
it kind of skips a safety issue there, as far as I'm concerned.
You can add firewalls in.
There again, we're obligated to stay with the codes and the safety of the people.
Yeah.
Say that again?
We're obligated to stay within the code, we adopted the code, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when did we adopt it?
Is it around 2012?
And when was it adopted? What I'm asking, it was changed at that point, was it not?
When was it changed? Part of the code was waived, yes,
Yes.
if that's what you're asking.
So we have the authority to change if we so
I agree
see
with
the
that.
need to.
What I'm saying, why change it if it don't cost anything? And it allows the code enforcement officer, knowing that Let's separate the permit from the drawings.
Not saying he can't go out there and look.
He can't hear
How would
us
he
on
know?
residential.
How would he know?
How would he know if somebody goes in and starts remodeling and he's not required to have a permit?
Unless he's invited, he has no right of entry.
Why is that?
He would have to have probable cause to go in. If you lock the door and keep him out, how's he get in? He would have to have probable cause in the court.
Could lock my door to keep him out.
I'm just saying, if you got a permit, that allows him to come in.
You wouldn't get the
That's right.
I mean, we gotta be able to see if they meet the requirements.
I'm sorry?
We gotta have somebody supervising the project.
Well, I understand, and I don't have a problem with him coming up and saying, I'm gonna be working out here putting up a wall. But why should the man have to go spend whatever kind of money it's gonna cost him to have a design professional say he can put that wall?
Because of life safety. You're asking to change the code for
Because of what?
aesthetics. You're asking, the change here is based on aesthetics of a building, roof line. The
No,
codes are built upon life
Actually,
safety.
this ordinance doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, it says if you change it, it's built on life safety. We're not gonna know if someone's changing the use of a
Yeah,
building
you
from
don't
a
know if they're
retail
changing
to a
the roof line or
restaurant
not.
or anything.
If they don't have a permit, I mean,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on in the building in the first place.
Right.
I don't know.
It gets complicated.
Yeah.
I'm okay without the architectural seal, but somebody's gotta be able, if somebody draws, even on a napkin, something, they should have the background to be able to do that and
Well, I
ensure the safety of the people.
I don't think it should do away totally with the requirement for the person to come to City Hall and let somebody know what they're doing.
If
But
they're not
when it-
required by
when it-
ordinance, how would they?
when
Why
it-
would they come to the city hall?
When it requires, well, you can still ask for, some type of building, permit on that basis. Why could you not?
Well, Terry said if we ask for a
Well,
permit,
but-
we'll have to ask for
but-
drawings, which I'm okay with it, like I
To
said,
get,
you
to
can
get a
bring,
building permit, you have to have drawings.
okay,
That's,
which brings us to the next step, the drawings, okay, do they need to be sealed by a professional at a higher level?
if,
No.
wait,
Well,
if drawings are required,
uh-huh,
state law requires that they have to be by a design professional. That's what you run into,
Well-
except for certain exceptions such as residences below a certain square footage and businesses where.
that's just commercial,
that-
just the
or-
commercial
or
side.
Commercial for less than 9,
Yeah,
or that employ less than 9. There's exceptions to it that don't require a design professional. But other than that,
so there's nothing in between that we can say, you still have to have a permit, and somebody will review your plans.
because if you require plans, they have to be by a design professional.
But we only require plans against what the state requires.
No, we require plans
If the
to
state-
get a building permit.
No,
Yes,
not every one of them didn't.
no. We require plans, we don't require they be drawn by design professionals.
Unless they meet the intent of 327.
I don't care about 327. 327 tells you what design professionals have to draw.
Yeah,
And that's all.
that is correct.
And when you gotta have a permit.
No, no. We decide when you gotta have a permit. When you have to have a building permit. 327 has to do with when design professionals have to prepare the drawings. And if we require drawings, then 327 kicks in, and that's where you get the design professionals. They would have to prepare the drawings with the, except for the exceptions that are listed.
Terry, could this be handled with, if you had two different building permits? One where you gotta have plans and one that exempts plans?
Yeah,
Let me see if we can do that.
yeah, that's,
Let's table, let's table and see if that can happen.
that would be an
Because
option.
The way our,
We
the
would
way
know
our
what's
code's
going
set
on
up
in
right now,
town.
you can't do it that way. You can't do it that way, the way our code's set up right now, but let me see if we can bifurcate that somehow.
If we can be flexible,
Yeah.
But we still have to get
if we can be
a
flexible on
give them knowledge of what's going on.
I'll try to have something for the next meeting.
Okay. Open the floor for public comments.
Good afternoon. How are you doing now? I'm Dr. Chancellor.
I know.
We
don't know you about that,
Okay. Let me get back to the right one. All right, on the St. Francis Street, have you received the financial and complete environmental assessment?
I got it today.
You got it today? Okay. All right, so I went out and checked with Metz. He's supposed to be bringing you his
Got that
contract.
today.
Okay, and then he's finalizing his plans, making sure the sidewalks, where sidewalks are supposed to be and all that good stuff. So, we should have that on the, St. Francis Street grant. And then, so, things are turning along slowly on it, but at least they're churning. And, yeah, I like the idea that you just had with, you know, having like a remodeling inspection certificate versus a building permit. You know, having two completely different things would be, whenever somebody changes something up, that way there's two completely different, you know, amount of work that's going on, so. Something needs to be done, if you have more purposes in. But besides that, that's all I got on St. Francis Street Park, and on the other aspects of the building. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address the council? And the council members need to have a closed meeting.
That's unusual.
Thank God.
We'll adjourn.